Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is Stephen Nehrenz with This Week in Weather.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of This Week in Weather on this August 26th. As always, streaming from the News on 6 digital studio. I'm Stephen Nehrenz. Thank you so much, as you have been every week, for joining me for This Week in Weather. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode. It was kind of a little more supersized, I guess you could call it, with my conversation with Travis. Had a ton of fun talking about, everything that he does out on the ranch and, talking weather as well. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you missed it, you can go back and rewatch that as you can with all these episodes on our News on 6 YouTube channel. Of course, some of them, on a weekly basis are slightly more time sensitive than others as far as the forecast goes. The one with Travis last week, I think, again, if you missed it, it's a really good rewatch as we talk about, again, everything he works on the ranch. This time around this week, I wanted to focus in a little bit more on the upcoming next several days as we head into Labor Day weekend because, it's been feeling like fall the last couple of days, and the weather's still looking really good temperature-wise heading into Labor Day weekend, and we'll discuss all the specifics on that coming up here for you in just a second. As always, as I always say, if you've got questions, comments, suggestions on other things, additional topics that you would like to see us, kind of nerd out a little bit and discuss here on This Week in Weather, there's my email address on the screen, my Facebook page where you can find me as well if you want to message me on Facebook, or like I always say, if you comment on these YouTube videos on our News on 6 YouTube channel, I go through and read the comments. I've gotten a few suggestions from that as well. So, all ways that you can find me and comment and, leave some feedback suggestions about This Week in Weather. All right, speaking of This Week in Weather and going back over the last several days, in fact, the drill. Just a week ago, we were still, less than a week ago, we were still baking in that big time summer heat. And man, how things have changed over the last few days. And if you're a fan of cooler weather, how they've changed for the better, right? We've had, a nice downturn in temperatures. And it was kind of a several day slide down, as you see on the graphic. Again, a week ago, we hit 100 for the second time this summer in Tulsa. And then every day past that, it was kind of a slow, steady climb downwards on the ladder there. And then recording this on Tuesday, August 26th. Yesterday, Monday, August 25th, a high of 72 degrees. That was a record cool high for that date. So again, that is just such obviously a drastic change just from what you expect this time of year. But compared to where we were, less than 1 week ago, I'm not complaining about it. It has just been such a fantastic change of pace for us to have. Like I said, that was our second 100-degree day of the year in Tulsa. Some parts of Green Country have had more triple-digit days than that. Areas that dried out a little bit more during the month of August have down around Weber's Falls and out towards Pawnee, a few different kind of pockets of Green Country have had upwards of 5 to 6 100-degree days. Tulsa officially has had 2, and fingers crossed, everyone, with any luck, we won't do it again this summer. We're certainly not going to, get close to that number anytime soon in the next several days. And of course, we've shown you this graphic a lot as we've gone through the summer, the comparison to where we've been the past several summers. This is the fewest triple-digit days we've had since 2020 when we didn't have any in Tulsa. Also, something else to compare here, and I've shown this date range as well. Tulsa's average last 100-degree day, when you kind of take the long-term average of the typical first one and the typical last one for the season, is August 22nd. We've now passed that date, so we've now passed what is typically our average last 100-degree day of the year date. Now, of course, as you know, September can still be plenty hot. In the last few years, a couple times in the last few years, we've had triple digits in September. So that is not to say that summer is over by any stretch. I will say, obviously, you've been feeling the nice cool air the last few days, and the trend that we're looking at over the next several days, or even the next week or two, would suggest that additional triple digits, should be hard to come by. So, again, fingers crossed. There's some wood right here that I'm knocking on right now. There seems to be a pretty good chance that we don't, approach triple digits again this summer in Tulsa, and for hopefully all of Green Country as well. We'll see if that pattern changes as we head past Labor Day and into the first part of September. Inevitably, there will still be some summertime heat to come, but the hope would be that we're done with triple digits. Another way to compare where we've been temperature-wise, especially on Monday with that high of 72 degrees. I mentioned a few minutes ago, that was a record cool high temperature for that date of 72. Normal high, here as we're in late August, is still in the low 90s, about 92, drops off to about 91. But so, we were 20 degrees below that average, normal high for late August. What does that high of 72 compare to? That would be much more typical of mid to late October. The normal high for October 21st is 72 degrees. So that's why I said welcome to Ogtober. That's what it felt like on Monday, and there will be a few more days, especially as we head into mid to late week with some more rain returns that will have temperatures similar to that. So again, not only just some relief from the heat, but drastic heat relief and drastic cool down that we just don't have that often in late August around here. And yes, I know this is, false fall, fake fall, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, this is not the actual beginning of fall. We still got a long ways to go before we get there. That doesn't mean that we don't enjoy every last second of these much more pleasant and much cooler temperatures if you're a fall weather fan. I know summer weather fans, you may be thinking, I still need a few more, warm, hot days, still need a few more lake days. Again, the warmer temperatures will eventually return, but what has happened here, I'll take this full screen for a second so you can see the big picture there a little bit better, is that we've had, a big jet stream shift with that heat dome that was, much stronger, even though it was centered off to our west, it was much stronger last week, really cranking up the heat and bringing down the rain chances. But over last weekend into the beginning of this week, that heat dome is now centered well to our south, and very strong northwest flow has developed. And really, it's that northwest flow pattern stretches all the way up well into Canada, into the northern parts of the continental United States into Canada, into the northern hemisphere here. I point that out just to say is that it's not only, you hear us talk about that northwest flow pattern a lot as one that can, bring relief from the heat, bring some cold fronts in here, but the jet stream flow being amplified all the way up into Canada, where the air is obviously quite a bit cooler, colder, has really helped pull in that significantly below normal air. And that pattern's going to stick with us for a little bit, not only for the rest of this week, but even into the upcoming Labor Day weekend, which will just continue to keep temperatures well below normal by late August standards right on into Labor Day weekend. That pattern is also bringing us some additional rain chances. So, the last couple of days, as has been the case for a lot of kind of our mid to late summer rains, some parts of green country have gotten good soaking rains, and others have almost totally missed out, particularly if you're north and northeast of Tulsa. Unfortunately, if you're wanting a good drink of water, because some folks do need it with how much some areas have dried out, our northern counties kind of missed out with the first couple rounds of rain to start the week. But this northwest flow jet stream pattern that we're in will still help usher in some additional storm systems. And I wanted to take you through this on Future View as we head into Wednesday. Another round of rain and storms moves through. The last couple of days, those rounds of rain and storms have been more focused kind of in the western, central, and southern quadrants of the state. This wave of energy on Wednesday looks to be slightly further north than the last couple, which should bring those areas of rain and maybe embedded thunderstorms back further into northeastern Oklahoma and parts of southern Kansas as well. The rain amounts with this may not be extremely heavy on Wednesday, but the hope would be that on Wednesday, some areas that missed out on the rain the last couple of days to the north and northeast of Tulsa finally get at least some with that wave on Wednesday. And then as we head into Thursday, a stronger wave of energy pushes in. And these storms that we've been seeing signs of so far for Thursday morning into midday Thursday look like these could be locally pretty heavy and maybe even some stronger thunderstorm activity. With this wave on Thursday. Severe weather threat should still be fairly low, pretty low, but we may have some slightly rowdier storms on Thursday. So again, for areas that have missed out on the heavier rains the last few days, hopefully you'll get some good drinks of water Wednesday and Thursday. We just may have to watch for maybe some slightly rowdier storms and maybe some strong wind potential with those storms on Thursday. Now, obviously, we're about to head into Labor Day weekend, but also the return of high school football and college football starting Thursday, right? We've got OSU football Thursday evening, and actually a few high school football games, including Owasso, Bixby, and several others Thursday evening, and of course, quite a few more high school football games on Friday. So this is Thursday morning, you're going, that's, we need the rain, but maybe not great timing. This would be so far the trend if you can kind of see the clock up in the corner of the screen, I'll take it full screen for a second so maybe you can read that a little better. This would be jumping ahead to Thursday evening, 6 to 7 o'clock in the evening. Notice those storms. So far, this has been the trend, is that we get those storms to start clearing, or at least push down to far southern Oklahoma, closer to the Red River. So, there's still, a day or two of wiggle room to go. This trends can always change slightly, right? They often do. But so far, we are cautiously optimistic that the showers and storms Thursday morning, by Thursday evening, should be mostly exiting green country. So here's kind of your basic rain chances, kind of the quick look, I should say, at the rain chance timeline for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Here in the Tulsa Metro, this applies to most areas, though. Again, that wave of rain that moves through Wednesday mid-morning through midday, maybe kind of more light to moderate rains, but it looks like a pretty good opportunity from Tulsa to the north. Thursday, again, Tulsa to the north, some heavy thunderstorms expected. By Friday, rain chances are dropping off quite a bit, and of course that leads us right into Labor Day weekend. We'll talk about the temperatures for Labor Day weekend in just a second, but so far, that timing has been pretty consistent as far as the rain chances becoming less of an issue for the holiday weekend. So we're feeling pretty good that will set things up nicely. If you've got maybe one more, lake weekend planned from Friday, Saturday, Sunday to Labor Day Monday, or if you're going to football games. All right, now backtracking slightly from what I was just talking about a second ago, for Thursday evening for the OSU football home opener, 6:30 Thursday at Boone Pickens in Stillwater. We'll be keeping a close eye on the timing of those rain and storms that will track Thursday morning into midday Thursday. More than likely, again, as I showed you there on Future View a second ago, those should be clearing out by Thursday evening. We should be good to go. There's a possibility I've left in as you take this is kind of the first look at that forecast, and I'll always encourage you to continue to check in with us on air and online through the week as we get closer and closer to kickoff time, because these numbers will still change a little bit as we get closer. But I've left in at least a chance that for Thursday afternoon tailgating in Stillwater, that there may still be some lingering showers. And I will say that even, for like setting up for tailgating, before early Thursday, before the game, that will probably be impacted by thunderstorms Thursday morning. So keep that in mind in Stillwater on Thursday. Probably going to be dealing with soggy ground Thursday afternoon after some of those morning thunderstorms. But again, with any luck, by tailgating time Thursday afternoon, rain should be on a downward trend, maybe some lingering showers, but it will hopefully be a lot lighter than what we see Thursday morning. And then by Thursday evening for game time, I've left in a slight chance for showers. Again, with any luck, we should be basically drying out for the actual game in Stillwater Thursday evening. And then, oh, by the way, I've been talking about the rain chances, but look at those temperatures. I mean, you know how it goes around here. We're used to the first couple games of the season just being blazing hot. Nope, not this time around. The temperatures, of course, will depend on how long clouds and rain stick around. If we break out some sunshine late Thursday, it may go a little bit warmer. But, if clouds hang around, we may very well hold in the upper 70s Thursday afternoon. I've got us right at about 80. At tailgating time, I'm talking a couple hours before kickoff. And then a kickoff temperature in the upper 70s Thursday evening for OSU's game. That just does not happen for the season opener around here very often. Low 70s as the game starts to wrap up Thursday night. Just awesome conditions. And as I mentioned, there are some high school football games Thursday evening here in the Tulsa Metro and across portions of eastern Oklahoma. And if you're going to one of those high school games Thursday evening, you're going to follow a pretty similar pattern here. As far as rain chances diminishing by the latter half of Thursday, and nice, pleasant, mild, high fall-like temperatures. Friday for the majority of the first high school football games of the season. Again, temperatures fantastic and not what you would expect for the first game of the season. We're usually talking like temperatures in the 90s at kickoff for the season kickoff, and just being like, okay, make sure you stay hydrated, stay cool. Again, this forecast that we've got for the season openers for high school football Friday is more like what we would have in the middle of the season. Shower chances should be very minimal, if not zero, by Friday evening, Friday night. Kickoff temperatures low 70s, ending the games in the upper 60s, maybe even the mid 60s. Just awesome. Picture perfect. And we'll roll this on into Saturday, of course. We've got OU and TU playing on Saturday. If you're going to be down in Norman on Saturday for OU's game, once again, just awesome weather that you would not anticipate for, the season opener, the first game of the season. If you're going to be tailgating in Norman Saturday afternoon, I've got tailgating temperatures in the low 80s. That will again depend on how much sunshine versus cloud cover we have. Kind of an easterly breeze. It'll be pleasantly warm either way. If we're cloudier, maybe a couple degrees cooler. And like I said earlier, keep checking back with us as we go through the week to see if there's any tweaks to this forecast. But this has been holding pretty steady so far. I got kickoff temperature that's 5 p.m. Saturday in Norman for OU against Illinois State. Kickoff around 80 and then dropping into the 70s during the game. Once again, just should be gorgeous. And then Saturday evening here in T-Town for Tulsa's season opener against Abilene Christian. That's, of course, 7 p.m. Saturday at Chapman Stadium. And very similar to what you just saw for the forecast for OU and Norman. Tailgating Saturday afternoon at TU, very nice. We'll be in the low 80s, kind of a sunshine cloud mix. Not expecting any rain chances to mess with anything on Saturday, and then dropping from upper 70s kickoff time Saturday evening here in Tulsa into the low 70s by the end of the game. So, like I said, we're doing something right here from a weather standpoint. It is going to be. I wasn't able to compile like the last 5, 10, 15 years of season opener, temperatures. But this, I will just say right off the bat, is easily one of the best weather forecasts we've had for football season openers in quite some time from a temperature standpoint. So I hope you can get out and enjoy it. The general temperature trend over the next several days, as I've continued to emphasize, will be well below normal temperatures through right on through Labor Day weekend. Again, that's what this graphic is showing you here. That middle bar right in the middle would be like normal temperatures, which would be highs of about 90, 91 to 92, which is normal average for the end of August. Well below that through the end of the week into the weekend. Now by Saturday, Sunday, Labor Day, Monday, temperatures will start to warm, a little more each day as the rain chances fade away. But still, we've been having highs in the 70s in many spots this week. That would be highs in the 80s this upcoming weekend, which, again, we're all used to Labor Day weekend being quite a bit hotter than that. Here's how that does translate into the temperatures for the upcoming Labor Day weekend. Again, Friday, still could be some lingering rain, I think, especially in southeastern Oklahoma. On Friday, looks to be the best chance for some showers hanging on. But Saturday, Sunday, Labor Day, Monday, again, a gradual warm-up each day into the 80s. But it will be super pleasant. Make sure you got the sunscreen handy because you'll still pick up a pretty quick sunburn this time of year if you're going to be out at the lake, maybe for kind of like one last lake weekend of the summer. By Labor Day Monday, I've got us in the mid-80s, warm, but just fantastic. I keep going on. I keep just being so giddy about this weather. I'm a fall weather fan, by the way, and I love fall weather and, college football and high school football, everything that's coming back at us, and it just has lined up so nicely weather-wise compared to what it usually does this time of year. And, of course, this several-day cool stretch that we're right in the midst of right now, I know it'll come to an end eventually, and one of the questions is, okay, when does it come to an end? Well, here's the deal. This is looking down the line as we head further into next week. This would take us, you see kind of the calendar in the corner of the screen. I'll take this full screen for a second so you can read it a little bit better. That calendar, the highlighted dates here, that would take us past Labor Day into mid to late next week and beyond. And the signals here, we're looking at some of the data from the Climate Prediction Center here, is that the signals are for still better odds of cooler than normal temperatures. There's a possibility that right as we head towards the middle of next week and a little bit of summertime tries to return, that northwest flow in the jet stream brings yet another cold front. Now that's still a long ways out. That very easily could change and waffle some. So this is not, again, I said this earlier, this is not to say that, yep, summer's done, we're done with it, it's full on into fall here. There will more than likely be some, there will be some ebbs and flows over the next few weeks. But there's a possibility that as we get past Labor Day, that we get another cold front to kind of usher in some cooler than normal temperatures yet again as we head into the very first part of September. I'm not going to argue about that. Again, I know summer weather fans, I do not think we are done with summer heat at all. Like I said earlier, seems like pretty good odds that triple digits won't come back at us, but I do not think we're done with the summer heat. You all know that, even into late September, it can still be pretty hot around here. So we'll see how those trends work out over the next few weeks. But if you're a fall weather fan, soak up every last second of this. It's nice to get 1 or 2 days of relief this time of year, but a several-day stretch of this cool down that we're getting is a real treat, at least in my book. All right, that's it for this week in weather. As always, you know where to find us, streaming on the News on 6 YouTube channel. And again, questions, comments, suggestions, you know where to find me to suggest what you want to hear discussed as we head on into September and get closer into like actual real fall. But again, it's a nice fall tease that continues for us over the next several days. So like I said, fall weather fan here. I'm going to enjoy every last second of it. Again, thank you as always for joining me here on This Week in Weather. Folks, be good to each other, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma's own digital studio live stream from the Bob Mills Weather Center. Stay with News on 6 online and on television anytime for the latest weather updates to keep you safe and informed.